Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how did we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started. It's the eCommerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your host, John Suder, Bart, Mroz, and Brittany Blackman. The eCommerce Minute is a production of SUMO Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm located in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com.
It's eCommerce Minute, episode 708.
In today's episode, Poshmark introduces Posh Stories.
With stores and restaurants shuttered and millions of people stuck at home, platforms like Zoom, TikTok, and Instagram are thriving. We've all been spending a little more time on social media than usual due to our current situation, and seeing this trend, other non-traditional platforms want in on the action. This is why Poshmark recently rolled out Posh Stories, a feature that allows users to create and share short, shoppable videos and photos for their item listings. Users can see Posh Stories at the top of their feed, but the content will disappear after 48 hours, unlike traditional social media stories that typically last for around 24 hours. With the feature, users can find brands, browse closets, and connect with other users. Posh Stories can be used for live 15-second videos and photos, or with uploaded images, and sellers can add their own captions and tags to content, linking other users, listings, and brands if they want per Poshmark statement. The company has been building and testing a video option for over a year and planned to roll it out in the second half of 2020, but fast-tracked the launch due to the pandemic, so it could offer more of a, quote, real-world experience, unquote, to shoppers. The new feature even allows sellers to show off the ways they style an outfit they have for sale or give the backstory on how they acquired a particular item. Poshmark also said that its new Posh Stories feature is based on that type of connection by focusing on a, quote, deeper level of engagement between sellers and shoppers, end quote, that will enable users to provide better context around the products they're selling when it comes to fit and style. The new feature will be available to all members in the US and Canada over the next few weeks, and the company will introduce more capabilities for it in the coming months.
I think this is pretty cool. I've never used Poshmark. I really don't know much about it because it's more like selling your stuff out of your closet, right? It's
For the most part, it's sort of like Mercari or any one of them, but just really, I mean, they're supposed to be like nice looking things.
Yeah, right. You can't. You're right. You're not going to sell your dirty old sneakers. You're going to sell like a nice dress or designer clothing. It's more of an upscale eBay. Is that a good description?
Yeah. It's very like maybe upscale eBay, but very. It's like eBay has everything, right? This is very particular about clothing,
right? And I see here that it's expanded into menswear, kids, and home decor.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the topic at hand. This video thing. I think this could be a real game-changing thing for Poshmark, because here's my observation in that you have a certain type of person who is much more comfortable on video than typing out this lame description of this shirt that I bought. Instead, you go, here's this dress that I bought. You know what? I originally bought it for my father's retirement party, and I only wore it once, and there's a backstory to it. There's creates some engagement there. You make a story about it. And the ones that are really good at shooting video, they're going to make these great videos, and they're going to sell a lot more product this way. And turns out, if all you have to do is hold your camera up and shoot a little video about your product and upload it, you're going to be able to list more products. This comes from someone who sells on eBay all the time, and it's a real pain in the neck sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, eBay could probably steal this and do it. I mean, I think it's great.
Yeah. It's good.
It makes sense, you know? Like, I don't know. I remember at first when, like, the other socials were introducing stories, like especially Instagram. Now, granted, I still absolutely don't get Facebook stories. I don't think that it was logical for Facebook to go in that direction, but for like clothing and whatnot, heck yeah, I don't know why it took so long to jump on the story bandwagon. I mean, this just makes it even more personable and social than it already was.
Right. So,
which is, it's like the main thing that differentiates Poshmark from any other like clothing app too, is that it's like a very much social centered like garage sale type of thing. Whereas eBay is a little less social, a little more down to business. Poshmark, there's like commenting and that kind of thing. So yeah.
And to discern it from Instagram, you've got everything on Instagram. So anybody can create a video. And what I mean by that, in that it's not pure commerce. Poshmark is pure commerce. You go on there to buy, you go on there to sell. End of story. That is the secret sauce that Instagram, I guess, is missing, but that's not how, that's, Instagram just evolved. It didn't start off, with stories or video or anything like that. Whereas Poshmark, this is what it is. It's commerce involving used clothing. And now introducing the video part of it. The ones that are the good hustlers are going to make little commercials for all their clothes and sell a lot more goods. I think it's great.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, very cool. So you are a Poshmark user, Britt, or you just go in there and poke?
Yeah, I go in there and poke around. I've had a Poshmark for a really long time. I was going to sell clothes, but then I got anxiety, so I didn't. But a lot of people do like it. I hear great things about Poshmark. Like, I don't hear anything bad about Poshmark. And maybe one day I'll work up the nerve to sell on Poshmark.
Yeah, I mean, so it looks like they basically ripped off the Instagram stories thing and stuck the stories at the top, like every other social media app does.
Do you guys use Facebook stories?
I don't use them. I just see them, and I can't make them go away. I see them at the top of my newsfeed on the browser, but that's about it.
I think stories from Instagram can go into Facebook automatically, so you can do both at the same time.
You can set it up to do both, which is
that's
boring.
cool for biz.
Well, which is boring as hell, though, if you're someone who looks at Facebook for one reason and looks at Instagram for another reason. And
like, wait a minute.
Like, here's my friend's umbrella that blew over in his yard, and he had that on Instagram, and now it's on Facebook. I'm saying the same content twice. That's a weak example, but yeah, Facebook stories looks like something that was clamped on. I don't see anybody really using it in an entertaining or meaningful way. Some restaurants do. And again, oh God, I love trashing Facebook, but yet I can't quit you, baby, because that's where all the restaurants are. And that's where I find, well, up until now, this is what I found out what was going on in the world, in terms of like, social things, like basically manage your social calendar. But with the Facebook stories is clamped on the top. It's just a repeat of people's Instagram feeds and a lot of memes. Not very good ones.
Because that's not where good ones go.
No.
That's when good ones go to die.
I would love to see eBay steal this. I really would. I don't know how they would do it because they can't seem to even get cohesive listings pages together. But again, I've said this to you guys privately, and I've said on this podcast more than a few times. I sell on eBay, and since this whole thing has started, we've been just clearing stuff out and just selling a lot of stuff on eBay. They're finally updating their shipping pages, and they're finally updating some of the listings pages, but eBay is still just a big spaghetti mash of pages that don't connect to each other. It's really strange.
Yeah.
But it'd be neat to see eBay, especially if you have something like, and I'm sure there's a way that you can embed a video into a listing, but it seems to me on first blush, it would not be easy if they would do some kind of feed. But as Brittany pointed out, that Poshmark is more of a social thing in that you can comment, you can interact. Whereas if I buy a soccer shirt off of some guy in Minnesota, I'm never talking to that guy again. He's never talking to me. We're not bros. We're not friends. Here's your money. Bye-bye.
Yeah, like on Poshmark, I could add my friends.
Yeah, so you can add your friends, or you can have favorite sellers. Like so that's a whole different thing. You can do favorite sellers on eBay. I've never used it because, my eBay buying experience is much different than my selling experience. And I think that's the disconnect with eBay. eBay is more utility, whereas Poshmark is more a social app. And I think that's where the video stuff's really going to win. And yeah, they ripped it off from Instagram and Facebook. Who cares?
Everybody's
ripping each other off. Poor Snapchat's sitting there going, what about me?
Dude, I know. Wait, that's T. Hold on. That's T. Like, where's her credit?
Right? Like, they did everything first, and they're like, what about me?
And now they're cashing off, like, the least out of all of them on it, I feel like.
And getting back to the cleaning out the closets thing, like we've been doing some massive, every time it rains and we're stuck in the house and we're not, if we're not working, massive purges of just, stuff. And I think what's going to happen is once we emerge from our deep, dark quarantines or whatever you want to call it, or what did I hear it called? The Big C shutdown. That was the new line, the Big C shutdown. The secondhand market is going to explode. There's going to be so much stuff. There's going to be so many flea markets. There's going to be so many consignment stores are going to be packed to the rafters. Eventually, when that opens back up, that market is just going to be flooded. Problem is, I think it's going to drive down the price of a lot of consignment stuff, and a lot of this, like the value of it is going to drop really low. But I know myself, I've got 10 boxes in my basement. I'm willing to just give away or donate to somebody, and I can't do anything with it because we're stuck.
That we are.
Okay, close a little stat time. The introduction of the feature comes after Poshmark's March report found that 58% of consumers were okay with buying goods via a brand's social media page instead of the website, and 75% said they would buy something directly from a person online. I need to go check out this Poshmark. We've done stories, and I never bothered looking at it because I thought it was something where you buy ladies' dresses, but it actually looks like it might be interesting. Another survey from BizRate Insights last summer found that 34% of adults have made purchases via a social media platform. And if you are longtime fans of SUMO Heavy, we did a survey way back in the olden days about social commerce. And that survey is still live. It's all the way back from 2016. It's called the 2016 Social Commerce Survey. And you can find that at socialcommercesurvey.com if you're into vintage SUMO Heavy white papers, which I know you all are. And then the last stat of our broadcast. In December, a report from social marketing firm Social Bakers found a 70% spike in third quarter advertising spending on Instagram stories. Instagram going to be killing it in e-commerce in 2020, 2021. But this Poshmark thing, I think it's going to be huge. We'll check back on this and see how it does. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
Nope.
No.
No. All right, that's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow.
That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media at SUMO Heavy.